guys, I'm Deanna or Yanna The Model, and I have Khalia Collier, the head manager and the owner of the St. Louis Surge. So first of all, I would like to congratulate you guys on becoming the national champions of how many years?
2-time national champs.
That's great. So besides winning, what do you truly love about being the head manager and the owner of Surge?
You know, my job is multifaceted, so there are more than just one thing that I love about the team. It's the fact that we get to create a brand, and we built a brand from scratch. The fact that we get to highlight women's professional sports at a new standard and really gift an experience to the community. And lastly, I really believe it's bringing the community together. We have an opportunity to where we're a melting pot, and by the way, you're experiencing women's professional basketball right here in our city for the first time at this level. And so there's so many things that I love about my job, and if I wasn't passionate about it, it's no way that I could keep going at the rate that I do all the time.
Yeah. Okay. So what would we expect differently from this year from last year?
That's a great question. This entire off season, it's very crazy to me to see us going into our 7th season. You know, people have actually grown up with me here within St. Louis, from the age of 23 to now being 30. It's been quite the journey. So along the way, this off season was dedicated to the infrastructure of Surge. So what does that mean? They're going to see new staff. They're going to see us growing at a different level. They're going to see the most competitive team that we've ever built. This year to win our 3rd national championship is the expectation. But from the fan experience, you're going to see this new excitement. You know, we've always really focused on the product of Surge. So it's the experience, you know, it's everything that you feel, the energy, the atmosphere, and by the way, you're getting a great game. And so I don't know if it's so much something as new for fans, but it's going to be enhanced and that much better.
Okay. So I saw that you're a head manager and an owner. So how do the two differentiate from each other?
So my role as general manager really handles all of the tasks in terms of recruitment, in terms of operation, all personnel decisions. So as we're hiring within our front office, whether that's marketing, accounting, our attorneys, our physicians, my role really entails every capacity of the franchise. As owner, it's a little different. You know, it's a combination of both, as I'm still leading all of our sponsorship initiatives, and it's really making sure our community and our fans understand how important their support is. And so when you come to a game, everyone kind of kids that I'm kissing babies, I'm shaking hands, but truly you could be anywhere on a Saturday night, but you're at a Surge game at 7 o'clock supporting us all the way through. So I want to make sure that you see that different side of me instead of just seeing the GM side of Khalia.
Yeah. So speaking of recruitment, how do you guys handle the tryout and cut process?
The tryout, that's probably one of my least favorite parts of the job. Tryouts for us gives us an opportunity to open it up to the community for any players that we may have missed that really haven't been on our radar, or maybe they're trying to get on our radar. So that's always a really interesting process, because we get players that come across almost 10 to 12 different states sometimes.
Wow.
The other part is that we're recruiting players year-round. We have a list of almost 80 players that we're watching, that we're following. We're watching a ton of film, we're talking to their coaches, and then we're identifying the best fits for Surge. And then once we take them through an extensive interview process, you know, people just think it's, all right, talent on the court. No, we're looking for great people. That's really been our secret sauce, and that's going to continue to be so of how we go about identifying a good cultural fit for our organization. So if you don't naturally like kids, if you don't naturally like to volunteer, we're not the program for you.
Yeah.
And if you just want a ball, we're not the program for you. And we make that explicitly clear.
Okay. So what are your strengths and weaknesses as an owner?
Oh man, you're just gonna put me on the spot, huh? I think my strengths as an owner is the ability to build relationships. I love meeting people. I love interacting in our community, and it comes natural to me. I'd say I have this natural art of gift for gab, and so being able to negotiate and make sure that also our message is being clearly articulated in the community of who we are as a brand and what we stand for. That's something that I've evolved and gotten better at year after year. of making sure people know we're more than just a basketball team, and this is what our vision is. And if I had to narrow it down to three, and brag on myself a little bit, I think it's identifying talent. I have a really good pulse of reading energy, of identifying who's going to be a great fit, and every once in a while a few slip through the cracks, and I have to make decisive decisions that are always in the best interest of our entire program. If I had to ask what are some three areas of weaknesses, it would probably be, I think almost my level of compassion gets me in trouble sometimes in terms of, when it's time to make a decision, it's not really about hurting someone's feelings all the time. You just have to make the right decision for your business. Second would be wearing too many hats. Knowing when to delegate is a very crucial part of being a leader. You can try to do everything yourself for a very long period of time, and after a while you're only stagnating yourself. So that's something I've been very conscious of making the decision to move forward. And just recently I was told my sales ability. Once you're sold on Surge, it's getting you to make sure you're rallying the next 10 people versus, when you're a fan, we got you locked in. And so what's the next component that I can do to make sure that you're advocating and really bringing that Surge spirit out into the community? Because I've already sold you. So now I gotta move on to the next fan and keep everyone coming together.
How is your style of ownership different than others?
How is my style of ownership different than others?
Yes.
I'm a young owner, and so my ability to relate to our players. I was a collegiate athlete. I played basketball since I was 5. I have a really good pulse on kind of some of the challenges and obstacles they face as players, and also what they're looking to accomplish. So I feel like when I'm recruiting a player, I understand the process. And so with that being said, I kind of think I'm a cool owner. I got a good vibe. I love traveling with the team. They know that I'm an interactive owner. So if a ref makes a bad call, you're going to hear it from me in the stands. And I think the players feed off my energy too. I'm huge on leading by example. And so my character and me advocating for our community and being engaged in our community, it comes natural to our team and our organization as well. And so I can't expect them to do it if I don't do it. So leading by example, I think, is a big core of how I'm probably different from an ownership style, because it's an age difference between most owners.
Okay. So speaking of energy, how do you distribute positive energy throughout you and your team?
Positive energy. It's creating the culture to be in a competitive environment, so we incentivize. Us averaging 104 points a ball game. All right, how do we keep that exciting? What are our goals? Once we hit a goal, we work really hard, but we play hard too. And so with that being said, we got to have some fun along the way. And so it's really easy to wait to celebrate to the end of the season, but you have to be doing that consistently and keeping people excited. If at any point you stop having fun and stop loving what you do, it's time for you to move on. And so I make sure that our players, our coaches, our staff, we should all be having fun. We're going to work really hard, but we're going to have a great time while we do it.
Yeah. So, are your players involved in any community-driven programs?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have several key community partners. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater St. Louis is our greatest partner. Not only do we participate in kind of our power hours, right? That's an opportunity for a lot of young youth to get exposed to what a healthy lifestyle is. Not just playing the game of basketball, but it's a lifestyle. You're eating healthy. You're always participating in some form of activity. We work a lot with Girls Inc. in terms of and actually empowering young ladies and talking about what their futures look like, their potential, and making sure they're not tapping into that when you get to college. That starts so early and it becomes who we are. There's so many organizations that we work with in terms of school districts and making sure I'm really big on entrepreneurship. One of my biggest talks is I didn't have someone like me come talk to me. And so it's beyond just being an athlete. It's the behind the scenes of running a franchise as well. People forget about all the other jobs that it takes to run a team.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I'm just as equally passionate about. If not everyone has the talent to be a professional athlete, and that's okay because I didn't. I make sure that's clearly known. I am not a professional basketball player, but I'm really good at the behind the scenes. And so maybe that's an opportunity that someone else gravitates towards, or I could introduce to say, hey, have you ever thought about this?
So who would you say are your main contributions this year?
My main contributions in terms of
Contributors,
nonprofits, in terms of sponsors or players? Players. So that's kind of one of the fun things about the Surge. We don't have a franchise player. You know, if you look at a program, like let's take the Cavs and you just got LeBron leading the team.
Yeah.
There's no LeBron in the Surge. We really do have a lot of talented players that all average double digits.
That's awesome.
In terms of returners, who can people be excited about? Without question, Rebecca Harris, number 13. She's been our leader. She's been our veteran, our captain. And she just comes every season to only get better, to compete at the highest level. Jaleesa Butler out of Georgetown University, also a big St. Louis native, is another great, phenomenal example of a player that we know is going to bring in 110%. And a player that was started with us last year, Christy Belloc, number 15. She's only gotten better. Coming out of Texas A&M, she just had a phenomenal season in Prague. So we're excited to have her return with us this summer.
Okay.
So those are just a few sneak peeks.
Okay. What factors might influence a player getting more playtime other than skill and athletic ability?
Great question. Every player wants to play 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Every player, if you're just a natural competitor, you don't want to have to leave the court.
Yeah.
The next question is, if you don't know what you did wrong, you want to know what you did wrong. A part of that is on the coaching staff. I trust my coaching staff for the X's and O's. But for players who are thinking about, all right, how am I going to get to that next level? How can I become a starter? How can I average 20 plus minutes? It's cliche, but hard work pays off. And not just hard work for one time or two times, it's consistency. You might have had a highlight game to where you scored 20 and 10 points one game, but if you're in the next and you're nowhere to be found on the stat sheet, we kind of miss that consistency gap.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we make sure we continuously communicate a part of our program. We put our players in the best situation to win. And sometimes that's players playing more than others, and you got to take one for the team.
Okay, and for the last question, the one I've been longing for.
Oh man.
What tips can you give others like myself who admire and aspire to follow in your footsteps?
There is one, I've kind of, a key motto for me is better is possible than good is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
You are always pushing to excel. You are always pushing to be better than you were yesterday. You're always looking for an opportunity to become and educate yourself along the way. And I think far too often do people become complacent. It's really easy to say, you know what, I'm good right here. But why? You're selling yourself short. Second is, it always seems impossible until it's done. You'll be discouraged along the way. It is a roller coaster. Life is this long roller coaster, and I used to think that sometimes you're just going to reach this high, but you do, and you're going to hit another low.
Yeah.
You just learn how to ride. That's the biggest difference. So if you're going to keep pushing, when people discourage you, wear it as a kind of a badge on your shoulder to where you're like, you have no idea what I'm about to accomplish, because I'm not going to stop. It just makes you hungry and determined to keep pushing forward, and to never give up. The only people that don't make it are the people that quit. And so the opportunity for you to continue doing what you love. It's really easy to make money. It really is. But the people who decide that they're going to stick with it, that they're going to give it everything that they got, and that they have to be a great person, your moral compass is whatever you choose that to be. But I hope that it's something that you can be proud of, and that you can say, you know what, I'm doing this the right way. And that's how I'm going to continue to do it.
Okay. I had an amazing conversation with Khalia Collier, and is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, absolutely. One, thank you very much for interviewing me
You're
today.
welcome.
It has been awesome to get to see you in action, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do in your future. Until then, I can't wait to get you to a Surge game. So for everyone else that's excited about the upcoming season, we want to see you home opener June 9th, Saturday at 7 o'clock at WashU. Definitely be sure to visit the website at stlsurgebasketball.com. If you want to casually just follow the Surge, you can find us at STL Surge on Facebook, STL Surge on Instagram, and don't forget about Twitter at STL Surge. So thank you so very much for being Surge fans, and I can't wait to see you Saturday night.